Are you screwing yourself over, making the same bad decisions, choosing the wrong people in your life, and constantly feeling like a failure because you messed up again? Well, you're not alone. And you can make better decisions using a simple decision matrix that helps you identify what's good for you and bad for you, as well as what's good for or bad for others. Now, this process helps optimize your life without wasting time and is part of my Life Map program. So, grab your free 28-day program below and I'll help you design, build, and live a life that you are ready to jump out of bed for. Now, only a few months back, I was doing a weekend personal development workshop and I discovered an Achilles heel or a fatal flaw of mine. I found that I was self sabotaging my entire life and repeating the same mistake over and over again. I discovered it while building out my Life Map program, and I would constantly choose the same thing over again, which seemed to be the most difficult option. I would put myself in a position where I would have to push so hard in order to be able to make that thing happen. And quite often, I was under so much stress that I couldn't actually achieve it. So I was creating this perpetual cycle of failure because I was overcommitting on something that I was not really able to do. And I would do it over and over again. I would put others in front of my own needs, putting others first, neglecting my own needs, neglecting my own health, choosing what was good for others and bad for me. Now, it's taken me a long time to work through this, and I'm still having to take a lot more time to really make sure that I don't keep putting myself into the same problem again and again. This self-sabotage has been a constant cycle in my life that I've seen but not really been able to notice or not nail down, and I don't want this to happen for you. So I'm going to share my decision matrix with you so that you can figure out what works best for you in your life and make the best decisions so you're no longer sabotaging yourself. So first of all, what I want you to think about is, what is the common theme in your decisions? So often people talk about choosing the same partner over and over again, then having the same relationship because they've chosen the same partner. That comes with its own dramas. Why did you choose that? What quality is that thing? What is it that they have or don't have that you seem to go for or are attracted to, or whatever it is? What is it that you need or that you're looking for when you make that decision? What is it? If you can identify what that is, you have half a chance of figuring out why you're sabotaging yourself, why you keep choosing the same thing. You don't need to keep making the same mistake over and over again. I don't need to make the same mistake over and over again, but we do. It ends up being a habit. It ends up being something, excuse me, just choking. It ends up being something where we are unconsciously making a bad decision on a regular basis, and that's no good. But if you can identify that you have chosen a particular partner over and over again, and it still seems to be the same relationship, the same thing, take some time to stop and think, what are the similar traits that they had? What did they have or not have that I was looking for? And if I don't want that again, how can I avoid that? What do I need to look out for? What are the red flags? Because until you have some awareness of that, you're going to keep choosing that same thing over again from a habitual basis. And that's no good. So number 2, you can actually look at your star signs in relation to personality traits that they have. And as weird as it sounds, I don't look at my day by the stars in any way, shape or form. I have no interest in any of that. But I have found that there are particular personality traits that line up with whatever your star sign is. I'm a Pisces. I'm a water symbol, and I tend to be in the water or by the water as much as possible. One of the things that I've seen recently with putting my Life Map program together is that Pisces have an issue with boundaries. Boundaries. Sometimes it's boundaries for other people, and sometimes it's personal boundaries for yourself. Remember, I said I would put other people first at the expense of myself. Boundaries is something that is very important for me to be able to keep an eye on. So anytime that I am asked to do something or to help with something or offered something, do you want to go to this party? Do you want to be part of this thing? Do you want to help me with this work thing? Do you want to be going and meeting these people or whatever it is? It's like, is this what I really want? Is it what I really want? So I'm going to bring in my decision matrix right now. If I want to know if it's what I really want, first of all, I've got to know, is it good for me and good for others? This is the ideal place for it to be. Not always going to be possible, but that's okay. The next one over here is it bad for me and good for others? All right, this is something that it's been coming up in my life, where I'll choose something that's bad for me and good for others. Now, when I say it's bad, it doesn't mean that it's the worst thing possible, but it might have detrimental effects to how my day goes or how my health goes or how much enjoyment I have from choosing this option. Now we've got this one here, good for me, bad for others. Generally, we don't like that sort of point because it's bad for other people, and we don't like letting people down. We feel guilty or we feel shame of not being able to help someone when we think we probably could. But a lot of the time, this is just looking after your best interests and your needs and your own health. And that is important. In fact, if you don't have your own health, you can't look after anybody else. So this right here is not a bad place to be. Finally, we get this one, which is bad for me and bad for others. That's not the place that you want to be. Okay? So being able to think about your decisions in terms of good for me, good for others, bad for me, bad for others, really makes things a whole lot easier. Next, when you make a decision, keep your weaknesses in mind. So it could be the information you find out from your star signs, or it could just be weaknesses from a personality trait point of view. You could even go and do a strengths and weaknesses questionnaire online, which is something we do in the Life Map program, and figure out exactly where your strengths and weaknesses lie so you can be aware of what those weaknesses are and work on them. If it comes up during conversation or somebody asks you something to help them with a particular thing, you've got to be able to figure out what your weakness is. Maybe your weakness is saying no. Maybe you're not good at saying no, and you need to be good at saying no in order to be able to conserve your energy and do the things that you want to do. Maybe your weakness is in saying yes. Maybe you've said no so much that you have stopped yourself being open to opportunities in front of you because you haven't said yes enough. People are inviting you to different things, and it might be time for you to say yes and step out of your comfort zone. Get back out there into meeting people and doing different things and back to who it is. But only you can figure that out. So figure out where your weaknesses lie, and then every time you make a decision, think about that. As I said, for me, somebody asks me to help out with something and I have several other things that I want to do on the day. All right, how can I make this happen? How can I make this work that it's good for me and good for them? Sometimes that works and sometimes that doesn't work. But you're never going to be able to get it perfect. All you can do is the best that you can do, and that's fine. The final point I want to make is it's okay for you to change your mind. It's your life. You're allowed to do whatever you want to do. So if you said to someone, yes, I will help you with this thing, but something comes up that you're unable to avoid, and you're just like, no, I want to be able to help them out, but I need to do this thing for me, then you're allowed to change your mind. Now, it might upset that person. It might disappoint that person. They might not be happy with you. But if you go and do that thing at the expense of what you wanted to do, you might then not be happy with you. You're people pleasing. You're putting somebody else ahead of yourself. You're basically diminishing your own needs as not as important in your life, which is completely unfair. Quite often we feel guilty about not helping somebody else, but we don't feel that same guilt about doing the things that are best for us. Why is that? I'm not sure. But it is something that I see on a regular basis. So be okay with changing your mind. If it doesn't work for you, if it's not what you want to do, if it doesn't fit within your lifestyle needs or your energy needs or your financial position or whatever it is, you're allowed to change your mind. It's your life. Live it your way. Don't be afraid to stand up for yourself and tell people when you can't do something. A lot of the time, people are expecting an answer. Why can't you help me? Why? Because it's all about them. At the end of the day, you don't have to say why. But if you need to, I'm busy, or I have an appointment, or I need to look after me because I'm not feeling well. Whatever. It is perfectly fine for you to change your mind. I want you to live your life on your terms, doing what you want to do rather than pleasing everybody else, because that doesn't work. Ask me how I know. I've been a people pleaser in the past, and even now I still struggle with this same thing of trying to help other people without it being detrimental to myself. So remember this, once you know what your self-sabotaging behaviors are, then you need to act wisely. Think very clearly about the situation. Think about what your usual response might be and decide if that's still the best response or if you need to decide a different way. Do you need to say yes? Do you need to say no? Or do you need to change your mind about something you've already said yes or no about in order to be able to live the life that you really want? If you want help getting over your self-sabotage and living the life you want, my free 28-day program is below. Come and join us in there. For 28 days, I will guide you through how to design, build, and live a life that you really love.